back in the spring at the HIMSS conference, I had a CTO from small to mid-sized payer come up, and she really just expressed her frustration because she'd been attending a lot of the sessions, and it seemed, in her words, not mine, that the only option out there was for her to rip and replace everything. She had a very small team, and she's like, there doesn't seem to be any, like, this is the only way I'm going to be able to meet this rule. And it really got me thinking about Opala's approach. And what she was hearing really is in contrast to, kind of what we're going to be talking about today. Scott, Opala took kind of a different approach. Can you walk us through that strategy?
Absolutely. The job that we all have is to make sure that we create the right size investments that are focused around the impact we can make with these, right? And so I've heard that story from payers too. The people that we talk with every day is there's a lot of big investments that have already been made around prior auth, around data sharing, around these prior mandates. And so we want to, the position we've taken is we want to help our customers get to that end-to-end solution that executes on the vision that we're all excited about with these, but uses, the pieces that we've already built, uses the pieces that our customers have already built, payers and providers, and then focuses on that data fluidity that Megan is talking about. So, what does that mean? With patient access, right? We've built that and we've offered that to our customers. And one of the things we do is we want to minimize any burden when it comes to surfacing new data. And so that means we're all thinking about integrations that are essentially hands-off. So let's create native integrations through Snowflake, for example, to get to it's just another data source that we throw into the ecosystem that gets processed into these great focal points around FHIR standards that we've all built for, right? And so we can bring that to customers. And like I said, there's small teams here. We can supplement that power and bring that in a phased approach that makes sense. Again, focusing on the value that we can get out of this to a solution that works for everybody. And so, patient access is a good example. Also, talk a little bit about provider access and then prior auth. I think provider access is a great, next step in this story around we can take what we did with patient access, right? Same data. We've spent a lot of time with our customers. Give us your data as it is, put it into our FHIR model. We'll get it into this FHIR API, right? That gets you compliant. Now we have this really valuable use case around that same longitudinal record, but there's a different way to serve that up to providers, right? And we want to make sure it's easy for providers and easy for payers. And so we've been able to build a very modular architecture here so that we can build out all the capabilities around that to meet the needs of these human processes. And even though they're automated, there's still users that need to worry about the impact to their world. So worrying about things like opt-out, consent, getting the right data in a readable format, right? Those are all important ways that we want to use this modular approach. Takes only what's needed when we're working through the end-to-end solution here and get to something valuable. So I think the key takeaways here are we start with solving that end-to-end solution. We want to reuse what we've built before and leverage what our customers have invested in before with integrations to their system when it comes to prior auth, right? One of the things we came across is there's a FHIR API, right, for take clinical requirements discovery, right? Such a key interaction now to be able to send out that query and understand exactly what those conditions are that need to be met for the prior authorization. But we've heard a lot of payers are worried about how do I get to that digitized rule set? How do I communicate that to the providers? And so that's a place that we can say, okay, let's start our investment there, start into that CRD query, right? Very valuable interaction. And then we'll build from there to get to that mandated compliance by 2027. But we're going to build out in phases and add value along the way. So I'll pause there and leave it to anyone else who wants to jump in.
Yeah, I can jump in quickly. I think that that approach makes a lot of sense of taking advantage of your existing systems. And I think at Firely, in general, like with our FHIR server, we try to make it in a way that we can meet all the requirements for the prior auth and CMS 0057, but we want to not overly prescribe for each vendor and customer how they do it. So we have like a pluggability architecture, and that way you can kind of override the way that maybe we thought it would be implemented. Then the real world hits and you already have systems that exist. You can now integrate them directly into Firely and not have to build everything from scratch or duplicate your data. You just kind of take advantage of the plugin system. Maybe you already have consent somewhere, so you can just check that consent and then manage what bulk exports are going out, what patients' data can be shared between either provider access or payer-to-payer exchange.